Hey guys, so I'm back with a collective read. It's been a while. I took quite a long hiatus from tarot reading, but I'm back, and today we're gonna be doing a read from 9 different decks that I chose beforehand, guided by spirit. So this pre-pull from the Hermetic Tarot basically speaks of a timeline that the collective's currently on. And the first card we have here is the Blasted Tower. And it speaks of oppression, following old ways, entrapment, which the collective's definitely been going through for quite some time now. The next card is the Moon. And in this position, it speaks of deception, error, falsity, essentially confirming the Tower in reverse card. And you can see in the imagery, there's 2 towers, which is pretty cool how that goes together. Third card is 4 of Cups, which speaks of success or pleasure reaching an end, injustice, acquisition by contention. Essentially saying how there's been great injustices done, and the collective is not experiencing joy like they should be. Then we come on to the Justice card, which speaks of balance, harmony, eternal justice, which the eternal justice is the balancing of the energies, the dark and the light, the yin and the yang. And these energies have to be balanced out. It's the laws of the universe. And it's been unbalanced for some time now. And we're in a period where it's got to go back to balance in the direction of the light. Next card we got is the King of Wands, which speaks of swift, strong action, also violent. And to me, this is speaking of the period of where the justice is going to be coming back into the balance. It's going to come with swift, violent action, which we've been seeing in the world with all the war and turmoil going on. It's heavy in the Cancerian and the Leo energies. Next, we have the 3 of Pentacles, which is working and constructive force, great skill in trade or work, and the increase of material things. Basically, that to me, this represents the collective being put in this position where they're just constantly having to grind and not be able to really enjoy life. And then we come to the 4 of Swords, which the Lord of Rest from Strife. And this speaks of peace after war, abundance, relaxation of anxiety. And I think this is a great message going forward. And we're going to see what else Spirit has to say with the rest of the decks. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good thing to see that there's going to be some peace moving forward, finally. Alright, so our next poll that we're going to do is from the Lilith Shadow Work deck that I have. And we're just gonna see what Spirit wants to say about that. Okay, so we got Black Moon Scorpio. It says, experienced breach of trust early on from someone who was meant to protect you. Address this trauma of feeling violated and expand instead of closing off emotionally and or physically. So that's definitely really fitting. And ties in perfectly with the first two cards. Speaking of oppression and falsity, being deceived. We've all been through a lot in our lifetimes, just like pummeled with all this trauma. One thing after the next, after the next, after the next. And it can really turn somebody against the powers that be. But I think the lesson here to learn is to grow from within, work towards our goals with diligence, and see that light at the end of the tunnel, and know that justice is going to be restored, and the true power is within all of us, and we have the ability to change things. Okay, next we're going to be pulling from the Oracle of Shapeshifters deck. And just gonna pull as many as I feel that we need. So we got Bats in the Belfry. The Fairy Bee. The Butterfly Ferrets. And Once Upon a Midnight Dreary. Okay, so for the first card, I'm going to read from the book because this is like so fitting for what the beginning of the reading was taught. Well, the whole reading, but you can achieve great things. And I don't know why I kept it in the reverse. I mean, I guess the reversals would just kind of speak on like this really needs to be worked on, or this is like something that's not understood. So like the first three cards, just try to keep that in mind, that like these are things we really need to focus on. Let's put this card. While I'm reading, we'll put like the card that I'm reading right there. Alright, so about the Bats in the Belfry. These companions will teach you how to be upside down in life for a time, to fly against the mainstream views, and to find your way when you could see no way ahead at all. So that really ties into the Blasted Tower, speaking of oppression, following old ways. And this card speaking of to fly against the mainstream views and to find your way when you could see no way ahead at all. Seeing that light at the end of the tunnel. They will assist you in moving far beyond the cares and conditioning that told you to stay enraptured by limiting beliefs, to remain in thrall of your fear of being different. The Bats and their astounding skills, sensitivity, and talents will help you accept that you must begin to live with even more courage, imagination, and boldness, even when you are misunderstood. They will show you how, in time, you will become an inspiration because you choose to live with valor, excitement, and beauty. The bat's only question for you now is, what's next? With these friends, no fear can approach you. Love that. I love that for us. Next section is Bats in the Belfry Speak. Others may say you are indeed batty, and this ascendancy has seemed mad even to you at times. The current state has been preceded by a heavy, hurtful climb. Just because no one can quite see how you've made it to the top does not mean you did not have to climb. There was no magical lift, no easy way up, nor did you fly. But you did follow your instincts, and we, the bats, the ones who could see you in the dark, led you to your current home. Now you are here, and so many wonders you could see, and so peaceful and fine it feels to be high above it all. The air is fresh and clean, and you can see just where you need to go in the future. There will be a time to start the next great journey, but for just a moment, take time and enjoy the wind at your back, the incredible views stretching out before you, and the freeing sense of detachment from the cares and woes of all those who said it could never be done, that you did not have the skills, that you could not climb so high. You have. You have done well. Now take a moment and enjoy the magnificent view and all the wisdom this height can offer you. See the future directions. See where you made what others call mistakes, and see how those below stay stuck. And no, you need only ask for our help, especially when the darkness falls, and you will find your way to the beginning of another great journey into places that others say it is not possible to go. It is. You have shown it to be so. Now let us take in this glorious view. Yeah, that's just awesome. I mean, with all the wild stuff that's happened this past year, I mean, people that are still being closed-minded, denying that anything is possible, I just hope they open their eyes eventually, but that's neither here nor there. So the divination for this card is, through the choices you have made, you have managed to actively show that it is possible to do what others insisted could not be done. You have clearly shown that the miracle that is your life is a result of the decisions you made to no longer be limited by fear and conditioning. You have been so very brave. The choices before you now are expansive. Don't become too lightheaded. Consult yourself and heed the advice of others who have broken free and are flying high. Take the advice of those who have dared to achieve their dreams, not those who suggest you stay safe by never daring to dream at all. Okay, so next we have the Fairy Bee. My life is sweet, and this card speaks of the next. I feel like the bats in the belfry was talking about the blasted tower and the moon, and now we're moving on to the Lord of Blended Pleasure, the Four of Cups, and the Four of Cups was talking about success or pleasure reaching an end. And so this card is talking about I'm not gonna read like the whole thing, but you ask me where the honey is, where the sweetness of life, the ease of life is. You wonder where the casual health and robust days have gone, and where the bright flowers and the sunshine have vanished to. No one took these things from you. You denied yourself your own needs and pleasures. I am here at all times, yet you have turned away from the natural world. For you to bring back its sweetness, you must spend time with flowers, ones that blossom generously, can't speak. Flowers of the plant kingdom and flowers of the humankind. You have spent too much time among the bare-branched ones who have told you that you will never acquire the luxury of feeling safe and comforted. But I am here to share that living life sweetly is as simple for you now as being outside in the sunshine for a few moments each day. Then the flowers will bloom, the bees will come back, your joy and delight will return. And the divination for this card is, so things have been tough for a while now. There seems to be a place where flow happens, but you just can't find your way into the stream. The fairy bee is here to show you where the honey is and how to attract the pollinators, the sacred messengers who can create the connections you need. Have no doubt your life can be as sweet and sound as honey, as healthy, strong, and productive as bees, and as busy doing something you love as theirs. And at the end of the time of busyness that's heading your way, the inertia and feeling of being left out of one of life's secrets will have lifted. You will experience abundance in golden times when this card shows up. You may also wish to explore essential oils and flower remedies. Let the bees show you the ancient wisdom, and if you listen, they will show you where the honey is. Have a 10-minute sun bath each day, smell the flowers, taste the honey, let the golden age begin. So yeah, this is basically, again, confirming, like, we all have the power to get to that peace after war. And it starts with looking around and seeing our blessings that the Mother Earth provides for us all, and being grateful for the things that so many take for granted and overlook, really, and not allowing these old constructs of society and reality to allow us to dim our light and take away our joy, because we have the power in us to change the world. Next, we have the butterfly ferrets. I am reborn. About the butterfly ferrets. The butterfly is the ultimate symbol of transformation. The ferret is mistrusting and alert and repels those who would do her harm. This strange combination will see you safe at this time of vulnerability and new powers. For while you are reborn, you must have protection, and will ensure you are safe in this moment of highest danger. The butterfly is the symbol of the changing self, who somehow is the very same creature it was before. It dwells in one form, enters a time of stillness, and then emerges. The butterfly's transformation is a heroic journey through elements, the dissolution of self, the apparent destruction of form, and the struggle to be free to fly. It is no easy task for the butterfly to emerge from the cocoon. It involves moving through a transition zone that is tight as a baby through the birth canal, and in doing this, its green blood is pumped and squeezed through its untested wings. Without this process of restriction and transition, of something to drive oneself against, there could be no flight and thus no survival for the butterfly. If you were to see a cocooned butterfly struggling, you might feel overwhelmed with compassion and wish to help free the beautiful emerging creature. But if you cut a butterfly free from its cocoon, its wings will never be strong enough to take flight. The blood will not have been pumped through the wings. The very thing that must take place for the creature to fly. So you can see that we must all experience the struggle at some point, or we will not be strong enough to fly. Again, this basically just talking about going through turmoil and not looking at it as it's just such a curse and falling victim and prey to that, of our falling victim to our circumstances, and instead seeing how we can grow and evolve from them. And the blessing, really, that conflict can bring is the growth and evolution. You have been through a time of great challenge and difficulty. You feel new, vulnerable, and inexperienced. You thought you might not survive to see this day, but now it is here, and you are drying your newfound wings in the gentle sunlight. For this moment, just one moment, know that there is nothing for you to do but to take in the significance of the change you have shaped for yourself. You have changed, you are renewed, you have passed a great test, and now you are reborn. It is a dangerous time, but you are protected greatly right now. There will be sentries who will alert us to your every need, and you have time to grow into these wings and learn how to use them. For now, take your time, breathe in the new air, and taste afresh the sweet times of life. Divination. You have changed and are at a very new stage with very little experience. While the butterfly ferrets celebrate you and your transformation, they are watchful. So they send you these alert, aware young ones to keep safe your borders while you find your feet. Shake off the shock of birth and set your new direction. You will be protected at your most vulnerable. You will not turn back. You cannot go back to the womb. You cannot go back to sleep. You cannot be as you were because you withstood the tomb of the cocoon and have resurrected in this lifetime. You are beloved, and the butterfly ferrets celebrate who you have become. Next, we have Once Upon a Midnight Dreary. Creativity, genius, writing, expression, and artistic flow. Ravens are omens, and here they are omens of your creativity. They will fly about under moonlight, entering your dreams, speaking to you the words you may have been searching for, dropping toward you with a harsh voice that asks you to weave magic now. The best times for this act are in the in-between times, the times that are ambiguous, paradoxical, and magical. People who wish you to pursue a sensible path may feel concern, but it is far less healthy for you to stop listening to the voice of the divine. The ravens speak of law, and at this time the law says you must let the words flow, the images appear, the song be sung, or the dance be moved through. Do not think this creativity out. Let it come out as it will. You are not a pure vessel for spirit, no, but you are a being connecting with the creative divine, and in doing so you are contributing something soulful and magical to a world that becomes more and more mechanical and dead under the yoke of logic. You will liberate us all and teach us through the power of imagination. So I feel like this card fits perfectly with the Three of Pentacles. That card was talking about working, constructive force, great skill in trade or work. So finding that inner magic within you, letting your creativity flow, will lead to the peace. And then the butterfly ferrets, I didn't connect that to the Hermetic Tarot, but to me this one represents the King of Wands. When it was talking about the ferrets protecting while we're going through this being reborn, and how it's dangerous. There's this fierce energy that's going to be protecting the justice that needs to be played out. And so with the Once Upon a Midnight Dreary tying into Three of Pentacles, I feel like we're missing our closing message here, and I was actually like intuitively drawn to look at the bottom of the deck, and it's super fitting. So basically this card talks about going back to nature and not depending on the construct of society that we've all been ingrained to believe is the only way to go. Finding our, passions and everything and following what's in our hearts, and then going into nature and truly appreciating what is provided for us by the divine, not by these oligarchical dictators. So the divination says it is time for you to go back to the basics for a time, to test yourself against nature's demands, to go without the luxuries and the support you believe you need to survive. You are about to discover you can take care of yourself and yet remain as true as the hound, as gentle and alert as the deer, and as wild and free as Artemis herself. You must take up the silver arrows and silver bow of the huntress. Keep them clean and sharp, waste nothing, and watch to know what to do next. Your senses, wiles, and knowledge of the forest will keep you alive at this time. You must address the very fundamental things of your life. Look at who or what provides them and take steps to cultivate those relationships. Water, food, shelter, healing. You will become the huntress for a time, and this is an empowering, liberating thing. Once this is done, you shall be protected and cared for by the perfect protector and provider who is inspired and delighted by your independence and strength. So, essentially, to me, what this speaks of is gaining that independence and freedom within ourselves, and being able to sustain our own lives. And then in turn, by leading by example, inspiring others, and others who are already on that path will see you finally, and you won't feel so alone anymore. So the next deck we're going to be pulling from is this 52 Essential Conversations. It's not a traditional divination deck, but I like to use all different kinds of tools here. So the card that just flew out is the 5 of Diamonds, Courage. And it says, think of a movie character, someone you know, who showed courage. How? Why? Describe a time when you stood up for yourself or another person. Why did you do it? How did it feel? So I think this is a good thing to think about. It ties into everything. Being independent and free. You need courage to be reborn. You need courage to overcome all this falsities and oppression. You need lots of courage. And I think these are great questions to ask ourselves. Describe a time when you stood up for yourself or another person. Why did you do it? How did it feel? You guys can drop that down in the comments if you feel so inclined. Next card I pulled is Respect. Think of a person or a TV character you admire. How did that person earn your respect? How do you show your respect for the feelings of others? How would you like to be respected? I think a lot of times people see others that they look up to and think that they could never obtain those qualities themselves, but that's simply not true at all. I think we need to acknowledge who we respect, who we have respect for, and what are those values that they have. which actually that's one of the decks we're going to be doing a little later in the reading, is values cards. So yeah, I think that's a good place to leave that. So the next deck that I was guided by Spirit to draw is these angel cards that I got from Salem, Massachusetts, in this spirit game. It's like a transformation game. And they just have one word on each card. So I'm just going to pull a few of them, and then we'll see if I can tie it into the message right now, or we'll wait until I can get some further clarification on that. Relaxation. That would be so nice, right, guys? It's Lord of the Rest from Strife. Tenderness. Love that. That ties into the Artemis card. Becoming independent and free, and then having someone care for you. Play, and it came in reverse. So maybe that's something we definitely really need to work on. I'm just gonna leave it though. I'm gonna put it in upright for now. But yeah, maybe that's something we need to work on more. Being more playful and not taking things so seriously all the time. It's much easier said than done, given circumstances a lot of people are going through, but it's definitely a necessity. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, right? Alright, so the next deck that Spirit chose for me to pull from is my travel deck, which just basically says if you're supposed to be traveling or staying put. If it does say to travel, we're going to spin the globe and see where it wants you to go. It's pretty random. I have no clue why this came up, but it is the holidays. A lot of people are traveling, so we don't really need to spin the globe, but I'll do that for anybody that's just curious what comes up. It might be relevant to somebody, if it does say to travel. And for others that already have plans of traveling, if it does say travel, it just confirms that it's all good to travel. If it does say stay put, then maybe reconsider where you're going and why. So travel came up. Okay, so we got travel. And then we're just gonna do a quick spin of the globe. See where it takes us. Just grabbing my wand to point to wherever. Alright, ready? Woo! Oh, jeez. Somewhere in Europe. English Channel. London. London's calling, guys. London calling. Yeah, so maybe that's relevant to somebody. I don't know. Anyways. Okay, so our next deck is the Psychic Tarot of the Heart. For the Heart. And these cards just flew out while I was shuffling, so we're just going to take them. We got the Heart Chakra. the throat chakra, embrace and detach. So for the heart chakra, located in the, wait, hold on. Oops. Okay. Parallel to the heart chakra represents unconditional love, compassion, harmony, relationships, and healing. It is believed to be the link between mind, body, and soul. To activate this chakra, take a moment to send from your heart loving, healing energy in the form of blue and green waves. Blue for peace, green for healing. Send this to everyone and everything unconditionally. This love will be returned to you for your own healing. So I'm thinking maybe we all need to work on our heart chakras. And I'm sending that loving energy out to all of you. Next, we have the throat chakra. Located in the throat area, this chakra is associated with communication, sound, creativity, and the ability of clairaudience, inner hearing. Oh my gosh. Many artists, speakers, writers, singers, and others in the creative arts have active throat chakras. To activate this chakra, use your voice in some way. Sing, chant, hum, laugh, make some noise. Energize this chakra. Energizing this chakra helps you speak your truth in a clear and kind manner, improving your relationships and increasing your sense of well-being. So next we have embrace, which is was in the reverse. So this to me is a message we really need to work on. When it comes to love, the universe is smiling upon you at this time. Energies are moving and shifting, coming together to give you exactly what you need and want. Your efforts to clarify your heart's desires to be present in current relationships. So it's interesting. It's talking about the heart. So my instinct was that these two cards were in relation to the heart chakra and the throat chakra card. So I'm going to go through that and say this card's for the heart chakra, the next card's for the throat chakra. Your efforts to clarify your heart's desires to be present in current relationships and to actively manifest new relationships are now bearing fruit. In this moment, you're in a position to achieve all that you have dreamed of regarding matters of the heart. Your dreams are ready to manifest. Allow all of the pieces to gently fall into place. Don't resist, just embrace. Your own personal energies are combining to bring you to a new level of being whole and perfect. This will allow your relationships to fall into place beautifully as well. To support this process of integration, work with the concept of having an open and grateful heart. Express appreciation for the many blessings in your life. As you go through your day, be aware of the grace that surrounds you. Grace shows itself in ways both large and small. The larger manifestations of grace may be your family, your health, and your home. However, there are many smaller manifestations of grace that can also be acknowledged. Appreciate the warm sun on your face, the cool breeze blowing through your hair, the lovely flower growing from a crack in a stone wall. By being grateful, you surround yourself with contentment, and through the law of attraction, you will welcome more of the same, including more fulfilling relationships. Affirmation: I acknowledge my many blessings and am open to receiving my heart's desires. I acknowledge my many blessings and am open to receiving my heart's desires. The traditional archetype of this card is the world. Next card we have is detach. Sometimes our ego prevents us from seeing events clearly. It's time to detach emotionally from a relationship or situation so that you can step back and reevaluate. Reflect upon how the relationship is working. Is it satisfying? What role do you play in its harmony or disharmony? An honest appraisal is required in order to gain clarity and help you better understand what might need to be done to improve it. This is true even if the relationship is already a good one. It is important to accept that your previous actions, decisions, and beliefs have led to your current situation, whether it's pleasant or difficult. We do steer the course of our lives, although often without conscious intent. By assessing your situation and accepting responsibility for it, you're able to free yourself from the need to blame another person or destiny. There's no guilt associated with this card, only clarity and empowerment. And I do see where it would be related to the throat chakra, because if we're blaming others, that could block our ability to speak our truth, because blame never rests on the shoulders of just one person, and it's really ill-advised to blame anyone for anything. There's reasons why things happen, there's reasons why people do the things they do, but to blame them is a negative. It's super negative. It's just not it's not heartfelt. It's not empowering to anybody. All it is deflating. There's no guilt associated with this card, only clarity and empowerment. Once you've detached yourself from and examined a relationship, lack of a relationship, or other matter of the heart, you're in a better position to decide what your next step might be. Remember that the detached card knows no ego. Decisions arrived at as a result of drawing this card must be fair and balanced for everyone involved. Affirmation: I accept the role I play in creating my relationships and my life. I accept the role I play in creating my relationships and my life. The traditional tarot archetype for this card is justice, so that's really cool that we got the justice card twice here. Okay, the next deck is types of conflict. In this deck, there's just a ton of different types of conflict that anyone could be experiencing. It's just meant to kind of bring it to the light and acknowledge what people are going through. And I'm going to say these are the most prevalent conflicts that are causing these issues to prevent people from coming into their power and gaining that relaxation and the peace. Oh, yikes. That's definitely a big one. And here's another one, demographic transition, which I'm pretty sure that's talking about like immigration kind of matters, which has been a hot topic of debate lately. The next card we got is dynamic issues. Examples like driving from point A to point B, repairing telecom service. So basically the everyday things that we all have come to rely so heavily upon based on this old system that we've all been integrated into. and things breaking down within that system, with like the tools that we need to function on that system, and those things breaking down. It's definitely a big conflict area. The next card that's coming out is laws pertaining to drug use, which I could definitely see that being super pertinent for the collective, because a lot of drugs that are considered illegal are actually like used in many cultures to help heal people, and there are studies being done and therapies being used with certain drugs or plant medicines, but it's not like legal for the public to use and stuff. And yeah, something with that. It's definitely something to think about. The next one that's coming out is water scarcity. You know, having clean water, having access to water, huge thing. So these are just things to think about. And our next card pull is going to be from the values deck, so we can maybe try to tie in some of that into these cards as well. So the first card that came out is values, universal values, defer to superiors. So I don't quite remember which card was talking about values earlier, and I said that we're going to be doing values deck. But this really is pretty fitting with the Blasted Tower card and the Moon card, where it's talking about oppression, following old ways, entrapment, deferring to superiors. So I think by deferring to superiors has caused a lot of these issues that were just brought up. There's so many ways that all these problems can be solved, and it's like there's so many brilliant minds out there and so many people willing to do the work, yet these problems just keep circumventing throughout our society over and over and getting worse and worse. It's just the same thing over and over again, and it's like, it's just crazy. It's literally the definition of insanity. So the next one is values, universal, be brave. And I mean, that ties into everything else too. It's talking about having courage, being independent, to be free, looking at all the turmoil as an opportunity to grow and develop and evolve. And I think this is going to be the last one we're going to do, saying social, political, what ought we do together? Justice, freedom, respect, community and responsibility, sustainability, well-being, diversity. What ought we do together? That's a great value to have. Justice, freedom, respect, community and responsibility, sustainability, well-being, and diversity. And I think that's where we're going to leave off, guys. And I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope that you gained something positive from it, and that it helped you to get some insight on your journey a little bit, or a lot of it, whatever, whichever applies to you. But yeah, have a good one, guys, and see you on the next one.